Namaste. I see the divine in you as you see the divine in me. Namaste. Isn't it always a beautiful way to greet each other? For in these spaces we acknowledge each other's divinity. As I see the divine in you, you also see the divine in me. And we are all here learning to become one once again and learning to work with divine love consciousness, which was where we were working with before a long time ago. And we are going back to that state. And now Kairon is calling all who desire to work at that level once again and learn to hold the great flows of his being. It is always my honour and my privilege to be the Ascension Channel for Kairon and Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, and the Light Grid Programmer for Kairon. Every time I get pushed up higher and higher, and it's wonderful to experience this. And I love it when I see people grow who are activated, and I love it when I hear their most beautiful experiences. This coming week, another beautiful activation will begin again, and many people are going to fly in to England from all over the world. And so it will be wonderful to see them and wonderful to meet them. And also, please, if you're listening and you're coming to the activations, remember to bring your favourite crystal, because so many attunements will be given to a beautiful crystal that you have, so that Chiron can help you so much more in the future. So tonight, beautiful teachings will be given again. I don't know who's going to come through, although I know Lord Emmanuel is going to come through in Chiron. So it will be a surprise, and it will be a surprise to see what they bring to us. So my job is to stay out of the way. So I'm going to close my eyes, and I'm going to say to you, Namaste, and when I open up my eyes, you won't see him anymore, so perhaps next time you'll see me opening with my eyes open and talking to you. Namaste. Greetings, dear brothers and sisters, dear sons and daughters in the light. I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, and here in these spaces I welcome you to these higher learnings and higher teachings to help you become grounded in who you are, to help you to become a more forgiving person, a person of so much love, a person of self-integrity, and a person with inner strength. For these are the people that truly can carry the torch of love and light and shine it to others around the world. I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, always say, happy is the one who's hearing these teachings, for they are opening their hearts, they are opening their minds, and they are beginning to understand the higher path of love and light. Happy is the one who is understanding that these are the teachings from the greatest divine love source, for they will be so blessed and their gratitude will become so great that they say, Lord, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, take me up higher, show me the greater truth, awaken me to my deeper spiritual gifts, show me how much you love me, always take care of me, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. It is those people who desire the higher ways of knowledge, who desire the higher ways of peace and of inner strength, and who say, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, I recognize who you are. Those are the people I truly bless, because they are awake to what is happening in your world on a spiritual level, where so many people who call themselves spiritual are fast asleep. They say, go away, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. We wish not to hear from you. It hurts our very ears when we hear you speak. And then I will say to those who say this, go and hide deep under the covers. Go and hide deep under the ground until you have the courage to awaken, until you have the courage to hear. For if you do not have the courage, then how can you gather the talents, the gifts that you have been sent to this earth to do? It is those who have the courage that will find the greatest gifts at this time, and who will desire the healings from Kairon, the great aligner, so that he can align the people who desire the greatest activations to be aligned upwards into the holy will of the great divine, so that I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, may gift to them so much love in the future when they come together and they all say, as a united class, look, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, we said yes to the love and the light. We said yes, we want to have it so much in our heart. Guide us to the greatest mountain. Guide us to the greatest love. And then I will say to that collective love class, come, I have prepared the greatest gates. I always promised you that you would return to the greatest spaces. Have I not? Now is the time to collect your prize. For you have done well, oh dear people. You have done well to find the true light once again. You have stayed awake. You have stayed aware. You saw it opening. Now come. For the very first ones who see the great love and who desire the great activations, they will be especially blessed by my being. For they came from their heart, they were awoken and they were awake. They were crying out constantly for so many lifetimes, where, Lord, are you? You promised you would return. I am so humble within my heart. I choose to see it. Show me when you are here. Please let me be there. And because there are those who said, yes, Lord, I recognize it. I recognize the divine path. I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, am gifting the people who desire the love and the light more spiritual gifts. And they are climbing up higher and higher. And I say to them, look, the feast is abundant. When you come into the healing spaces, when you come into the healing grid, the spaces of learning are so abundant. You will certainly become fattened with the spiritual love that flows, and you will not hunger anymore, and you will begin to remember who you truly are. For the more you are refined in the love within you, the more you will spiritual gifts. The more you learn to forgive all that is done, the more you can be taken up, and the more you can heal and sound your trumpet so loud. Look, we are seeing the love and the light, and we have stepped into a beautiful self. For once you become activated, you become more beautiful. Do you not know that? You gain a greater gown, a gown of wisdom and spiritual maturity, a gown of deeper knowledge, a gown of a higher understanding that you are indeed a very beautiful, and that all things have been forgiven on your human path. Your peace will become so deeper within you, and you will recognize your divinity greater. This is where I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, am taking the activated to. It is so important for you to understand that very soon I will begin to teach the activated ones how to grow with their spiritual wings together as a collective. As Chiron is collecting them and giving them the greatest healings and connecting them up to their sacred codes, I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, will give to my designated channel, Suzanna Maria Emmanuel, greater gifts, so that she can bring through greater codes for those ones who are collected into the great mountain, the great healing grid, the great spaces, the great codes, so that she can bring through the great teachings from my being, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. And the blessings are going to become so great, and the people will say, look, we have seen the divine, we understand it, we have felt the presence of it so much. And there will be many tears among them, tears of joy, because they will wave their palm branches so that they recognize the great love between them and recognize the great light between them, and mainly within themselves. They will say, we are so blessed. We are truly the blessed one, as it was prophesied a long, long time ago that the great divine would return and would begin to gather the people together to the great mountain of light. It so is coming to be now. All those prophecies are coming to be fulfilled. And it is when the people begin to recognize the great divine Lord that they will be taken up slowly, and they will become healed oh so slowly, and they will become more loved oh so slowly, and you're taken up to become part of a beautiful angel once again. Welcome to the time when you will see the people rise that are truly awake to these teachings and to the divine love. Blessed is the one who sees this time coming, for they are the ones that will say, look, we are inheriting the love once more within us. It is our true inheritance, and we can claim it. We were promised that this would come to us, and now we are able to gather the gifts that were promised to us so long ago. These were the same words that the people heard 2,000 years ago through my channel, Jesus. And Jesus spoke these following words And there were so many people in front of him at that time. Look, a time will come when the great Lord will return, and he will invite so many people to come to his being, to his love, to the great mountain. And they will be seated before him, and they will say, "We see you, divine Lord, with our spiritual hearts. We understand how important this time is. We are celebrating this time, for we know and we can see it. We are being taken upwards. For no longer will we be blind, but now we can see." And Jesus said, and many will say, "Awaken us, awaken us." What is it that they can see and we cannot? What is it that they can hear and we cannot? And then these words would be spoken to the ones who cannot yet see and cannot yet hear. Open your heart to the great love of the great divine and begin to remember your greater gifts. Begin to love oneself again. Begin to love who you are. For love is the greatest gift that you can have and that you can give. When you love within, you will see all, because the great Father is the great love. The great Father is the way upwards. He is the truth, and he is the way, and he is the freedom. And who sees the great Father is the one who says, "Look, I have no more fear within me, for the fear has been taken away from me. I am at peace, and I am healing in the love. No matter what happens anymore in my life, I am now at peace, because I know the truth, and the truth will always set me free." And this is the way so many people will begin the greater journey of living. And so many people will begin to understand it on a very deep level, as I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, will gift the people who are activated the way up to join their divine self. A way up to step away from their lower self and join their greater self, so that they can truly be prepared for the greater gifts coming, for the greater gifts of the great love are there for the people who desire it, and who desire the healings, and who desire the flows, and who desire the strength. For you are now in a time of receiving the greatest gifts. And this is the time when we are calling. "Look," you will say, "the great divine has spoken." And when the great divine speaks, all promises must be fulfilled. I promised 2,000 years ago I would return. And I have kept my promise. I promised that the great healings would take place, and I kept my promise. I promised to send my channel to the earth once more, and I kept my promise. I promised the people 2,000 years ago that love and peace would come to the earth, and I will keep that promise. I also said, how many people will be awake when I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, will return? And so many put up their hands. And I said, through my channel, Jesus, not many people will. For many will deny me. Many will not want to hear me. Many will say, it hurts my ears too much, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. For the time will come when the people will not recognize what is truth and what is truth. When the people will recognize what is truth, truth will awaken within. But many people would not recognize what is truth. For the stories have been contaminated and twisted and turned. And so many lies were told. So many that they would say, we do not believe you, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great. We do not remember you. We do not remember who you are. And when they heard these words, many wept and many tears. And they said, Lord, how can we deny you? We feel you, we know you. And so Jesus comforted them. And he asked them to go into their homes and keep praying, to keep the light and the love switched on within them. Now I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, am asking the ones who desire the strength, who desire the healings, how many are ready to come into the great fold of the great love? How many are ready to become shepherded by the great divine himself? For the gathering is taking place at this time, and I, Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great, am waiting for the desire to become so strong, for the gifts to become stronger, so that I can say, look, now is the time. I am going to take my designated channel, Suzanna Maria Emmanuel, upwards into my love, so that she can be transformed into greater love, so she can receive the greater codes to bring back to all who are activated. But how many are desiring that at this time? And so I am coming before the people who desires to be among the ones who say, send me, great Lord. I am ready to do the work of the true love and the true light. Greetings, I am Sovereign Lord Emmanuel the Great.